Yo, welcome to Crate 808 and another little sneak peek on what is going on the Crate 808 Patreon. And this week we went back into the Doom catalogue with my man Jon Bass from Notorious P.O.D to talk about one of his favourite tracks, Figaro. So it's the Why I Love series. Here we go again. Every month we do these, so patreon.com/Crate 808 if you want to get a bit of dose of Dilla, a bit of Woo, a bit of Doom, and some live chats and some polls and just some geeking out, some rap nerding out. If you want some of that, go sign up, enjoy what is coming up right now, and go check out Notorious P.O.D as well. Wicked podcast. And anyone who loves Madvillainy, anyone who loves Madlib, you're going to enjoy this one. Let's go. Boom. Notorious P.O.D, Jon Bass is in the house. Welcome, my friend. I was going to say, this is a series we've been doing, right? And it's Why I Love. And we're doing a Doom edition and a Dilla edition, right? So I asked you, and like an idiot, I left you out of my Doom tribute, which I'll never forgive myself for. So I said,
yeah, and I'll never let you forget it as well. every time it comes up, I'm always like, oh, cheers for the invite, or the little eye emoji, you know.
Yes, all the little eye emoji. That's it. So I knew that. Now I know that you love Doom. I thought, right, why? Why do you love Doom? And what song do you want to bring on to express that joy, love? And John, you emailed me and said you want to do Figaro from Madvillainy, 2004. Tell me why. Why is this the song you love? I know you love all the others, but why is this one of them?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, when you ask, it's like being asked your favorite Prince song or favorite Michael Jackson song. When you've got like an entire catalogue of genius, it's very difficult to like isolate one thing. But I'm always a firm believer in these things. When people say like, what's your favorite movie, right? People always try and think of like a great movie that everyone appreciates and loves, right? And I think there's a difference between what you think is the best and what's your personal favorite, right? And so when you think about your favorite, it's the one that you listen to a lot. It's the one you go to or the first one you think of. And as soon as you said to me, Doom, like the first thing that I thought of that gave me that emotional reaction of like, I can sort of feel the first time I heard it and was like, what is this? Like, this is just amazing, was Figaro. And so I just thought, yeah, I'd actually really like to talk about that. And the album itself was one of the moments where I really started to discover a layer of hip hop that previously hadn't really been known to me or I hadn't really explored enough. And so yeah, it just gave me a lot of positive memories. So I thought, well, let's do this.
That's interesting. What was it then? What were you listening to before this? Before you heard Figaro and Madvillainy, what was like? Were you into what South like music, Southern hip hop, or still was it strictly boom bap woo? What were you into before this?
Yeah, it was basically like I'm 30. I forgot how old I am. I'm 35, right? So I guess I'm as a kid, like growing up, I was like in the sort of peak. To me anyway, like East Coast has always been my favorite boom bap hip hop. So when the Woo and like the Infamous and you know, even like Biggie and, you know, later on when they were kind of at their pomp, I was kind of too young to appreciate it, right? So I kind of was like that little bit too young, you know. I was kind of 10, 11, 12. It's like it's on the periphery. And I remember the first time I really ever came across hip hop was around that time, which was my brother had the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers front cover poster, but it was like the door length one, so it was massive.
Come on.
And I just remember almost being like frightened of it, because it's just like they just look so menacing, right? And you're a little kid and you're just like, what is this? And then, you know, you just hear like, bring the ruckus from my brother's bedroom that just smelt of like weed and Lynx Africa. And I was like, fuck, this is incredible. And his room was just filled with posters, and it was all just like golden era. There was like a demo basically of Madvillainy, the whole album, that was leaked like on YouTube. And one of the main things about the sort of Figaro, the difference between Figaro and the sort of eventual track that was released, was the speed. So it was a lot faster, and his delivery was a lot more, I guess, rushed.
Urgent,
it's quite urgent, and it's quite I mean, like all this stuff, it's quite complex wordplay to be able to deliver it in an unusual placing of words. So to do that at speed is more difficult. And what I thought was really interesting about that live performance you mentioned is it was actually even more slowed down than the version that's on Madvillainy, just slightly for a live performance, I guess, to allow time for breathing and performance. But it sounds even more just gully and raw, because it does give him a bit more time to like to land in slightly different places.
Yeah,
and it just sounds amazing. So I definitely urge people to go and check that performance out, because it's incredible.
I don't know why, but I like reading YouTube comments. I like just seeing what people say underneath videos. Sometimes some funny shit. Right, so there's loads of Doom stuff and obviously lots of great like little takes and that. But my favourite, John, was this one that I saw from a guy called Dina Fritz, and he says his voice sounds like a freshly baked loaf of bread. And I thought, that's perfect. That's perfect to describe Doom on Figaro. It does sound like bread.
Yeah.
What are we doing with this podcast?
It's warm.
Doom sounds tasty, like bread.
But there's a hint of crustiness about it.
Yeah.
Right? But not too crusty where it's unpleasant. It's just that perfect, crunch.
Yes.
That's what you need.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that I always think of when I think of Figaro in terms of bars, and actually I think this is true of all artists, and I've heard a few other rappers talk about this before, is if you can write the first line of your track and make that a memorable line, the rest of the track just falls into place, right? And it's like there's so many good examples. There's a war going on outside, no man is safe from, right?
Exactly.
As soon as you hear that, you're like, fuck, this is going to be absolute flames.
Yeah.
And the first lyric, the rest is empty with no brain but the clever nerd, the best MC with no chain that you ever heard.
See you later.
I mean, see you later. Thanks for coming. What?
You could spend so long on that, and I did. And I was just sitting there going, oh, like what he's meaning is like everyone else is brainless and he's the clever nerd and the best MC with no chain you ever heard. But I was like, but is it no chain because he doesn't like wearing chains? But then the track is called Figaro, which is about chains. So maybe it's that reference where you could just be sitting here for ages, couldn't you? Really, with that.
And it's just it's that level of like creating this emotion of like this character again, because I was the same as you. I was like, well, he's basically saying like I'm smart, the others aren't smart, and I'm a clever nerd, which is kind of like a nerd in hip hop most of the time is derogatory, but he's using it in like a positive way, like I'm the clever nerd, and then he's like, I'm the best MC with no chain that you ever heard. It's just, and also like it sounds so like beautiful when he's
just about to say, it's not even just the words, it's the way he says them when he comes in. You're completely right. It sets the stall out for this just absolute just crazy tandem of like rhyming on this beat, which I don't think is quite easy to rhyme on, I suppose, but it's the way the god level flow of the situation. Like that's, I think a lot of people talk about his flow. Some people don't like it, some people do, but for me on this track, it's when it just keeps going. When you hear something and you're like, oh, he's just going to keep going, then he's going in and going and going, and it's like it's the real crescendo of it is that I can't even rhyme it, but it's the Krills, toast no pills, post no bills, Joe. And the fact that he goes, Joe Schmo's flow's ill. And I was like, who's Joe Schmo? Oh, are you Joe Schmo?
Schmo, yeah.
Doom's calling himself Joe Schmo. And like, oh, coast to coast. Oh, man, just so fucking dope. For some reason, I don't know what it like. You said you can still get bits out, and he's like going, you feel him in your heart chakra. And I was like, right. I mean, that is at the essence of every. Like, I felt that. You know what I mean? And then he says, "Start shit, stopper." So wait, the people who start shit, you're stopping them, and it's just how his mind is wired is really odd. I'd love to have just sat with a conversation and think. Like Pharoah Monch, he came on up on it. He was like, "Oh yeah, we just sat down in Paris and we talked about technical rapping." I'm like, imagine that chat. Like, what would you two? How is his brain wired to call himself the start shit stopper and be a smart shopper? Don't know what that means.
And is that? It's. I mean, that was the one. I was like, is that start shit stopper? Which is hard enough to say, just speaking it. Be a smart shopper. Is that a reference to like? People buying music, like don't just buy the stuff that's, because a lot of this is like I'm Joe Schmo and I'm a clever nerd, and it's like maybe it's like a kind of like don't just buy other shit because it's out there. Like be a smart shopper and buy my shit.
But I laughed out loud, spitting out tea the other day when that landed again so differently for me when it was like take her for a masters here once and shake her hand on some old thank you ma'am and ghost her, and then she can mind the toaster if she signs the poster. Like, Right, so what does that mean? Is he talking about the gun? Is he talking about a toaster? Is he talking about a poster on his bed? You know, like post on his bed, like he's hit it, now she can sign it by putting a notch on there. Or is she going to sign? I do not know. But Anita Baker, he's got this thing with her and I love it. But do you know the one that gets me every single time? Because I feel, and it is poetry, like how you put these words together to say, off pride tykes talk wide through scar meat.
Scar meat. Yeah.
Right. So, right. Off pride, what does that mean? Are they a pride of lions? Are they off? Are they outside? Are they young? Again, you can go down that road for ages. That's what we're doing this for, this podcast, is to do this. But then talk wide through scar meat. And that's just like they're chatting shit with a busted lip or something. And I was like, that is just, yeah, I just love the way he puts that together. And I don't know, but it's one of the moments for me where I'm like, Doom, you're so good. You're so good.
And then like that, the follow-up line, that offside's like how Worf rides with Starfleet.
Because it's a Klingon, isn't it? It's a Klingon. And he's on this, yeah.
It's just in the offsides, as in, on the opposing side. It's like, fucking hell.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Who even thinks like that? Who's going, I need to get a Starfleet reference in here. What? How do I? I tell you what, I'll set it up with Scar Me.
But it works. It works beautifully.
It really works.
It does,
it really works.
2004, Figaro's comes out, right? But also in 2004, what happened was Tottenham Hotspur bought a certain man called Jermaine Defoe, my friend, which I'm sure you remember very well, who went on to become Player of the Year. Would you say Spurs don't buy Jermaine Defoe, but you get to keep Figaro, or you do buy him and you get? And I think you might have bought Michael Brown that season, mate. So always remember, Michael Brown you can get Michael Brown in this freebie.
Free. I mean, to be honest, you know, if we're just left with Michael Brown as a summer signing, that is quite a concern.
True.
I mean, look, it's really difficult because, again, I'll go back to my previous statement about Prince and Michael Jackson, right? If you picked one song, even if it's your favourite song from their catalogue, you're still left with an unbelievable amount of brilliant stuff. And you've got more time to appreciate other songs that maybe you haven't.
Good point.
So sometimes, right, to use the football analogy, sometimes you have a star player, right, and you sell that star player and you reinvest in other players. And I feel like if you sold the star player in Figaro, it would give me more time to invest in other songs that I always miss because plus we were absolutely trash until we signed Jermaine Defoe. And you know, I know there's a lot of fans of Figaro, but there are a lot of fans globally of Spurs that would be very disappointed if they're like, do you remember that guy, Jon Bass, who had the chance to sign Jermaine Defoe and instead he wanted a song from MF Doom, this guy we've never heard of? There would be riots
true,
in N17 that I'd never be able to show my face there again.
So there you go, MF Doom's Figaro on the hit list. It's been checked off, one of the best Doom tracks in my opinion. I hope you enjoyed that little geek out in Madvillainy, talking about Madlib, those bars. So if you did enjoy that, we drop one of these every month for our Patreon users. Also, we drop some Wu-Tang flavour. We're going through every Ghostface solo album. We're up to Bulletproof Wallets in December, and we've done the other two. So if you sign up, you can get all that good hip-hop flavour in your ear. So patreon.com/crate808. Go to crate808.com just to check all our general vibes. And yes, we will catch you soon. Spread the word. Big up. Boom.